Hello, welcome to Wit's End. My name is Mike Walsh and I'm here to spoil your day. Feminism is a dangerous topic in these uncertain times. A slip of the tongue, an off-color joke, an inappropriate remark over coffee can have disastrous consequences for the unsuspecting male who inadvertently crosses the politically incorrect line. This invisible boundary is a wavy, confusing notion, a line drawn in water. It's not fixed, it's always shifting, a trap for the hated enemy, men, especially old white men, standing in the way of human rights and social equality. The politically incorrect line is designed to inspire fear in the male sex, to silence discussion, to quell dissent. Well, this old white man will not be silenced. I'm covering up my nuts and stepping over that politically incorrect line into a minefield where even angels and fools fear to tread. I can imagine all the trolls and the internet bullies, the shamers and the blamers, sniffing the air and smelling blood. Where have they gone, the gentle, submissive ladies of yesteryear? The dutiful, obedient wife, the loving stay-at-home mum, the contented housefrau, the delicate creature waiting in the doorway with a bloom of contentment on her cheek. Did such women ever exist? Or did men just make them up? The last 50 years have seen explosive changes in the way we live and the ideas we believe. One of these changes has been the empowerment of women. The long battle for female equality has been largely successful. Feminism, for the most part, has been a good idea, a righteous cry for justice and freedom. But like all good ideas, it can be pushed too far and lead to a kind of despotism. Even democracy itself can be pushed too far. Look what happened in England under Cromwell and in France under Robespierre. Tyranny and terror, heads rolling, blood spatter before bedtime. Today women are wielding the axe and heads are rolling. Everyday news stories report the fall of another powerful male, from CEOs to respected politicians to Hollywood producers. The balance of power has shifted. The feminine mystique has triumphed. Women can claim victory. They've won the war, yet the fighting in the erogenous combat zone is as fierce as ever. Why? Why does a senseless war drag on? Women have gotten the right to vote, the right to inherit property, to conduct their own financial affairs, to receive equal pay for equal work, to sue for divorce and scoop up most of the unwanted husband's assets. Men have been cowed. They stand with heads bowed like naughty schoolboys, waiting to be spanked. What else can women want? In order to keep this war of the sexes going, a big lie is spreading like the Black Death through the Western democracies. It is a lie that is intended to poison and divide and keep the fires of revolution burning bright and hot. Things have never been worse, cry these insurgent liars. Misogyny, racism, homophobia, transphobia, Islamophobia, xenophobia, anti-Semitism, and white nationalism are again on the march. The hard-won battle for human rights is under threat. Democracy itself is in peril. To the barricades! This lie is huge, absurd, and dangerous. A great many people have actually come to believe it, despite the overwhelming evidence to the contrary. In terms of human rights, things have never been better in the West. Governments have never been more sympathetic or sensitive to the needs and aspirations of minorities. Major corporations have fallen into line for social justice, hiring people they never would have considered in the past. They force employees to take diversity courses and behave appropriately around the water cooler. The mainstream media never misses an opportunity to parade their ultra-liberal credentials as advocates of civil liberties and human rights. They bend over backwards and drop their drawers if necessary to support strident minority demands. On the university campuses, in the social science departments, dreamy professors are relentlessly preaching utopian nonsense, seemingly unaware that every attempt to build a utopia has ended in a nightmare. And yet the discontented minorities, with the feminists leading the pack, tell us things have never been worse, that goose-stepping is back in fashion, that the swastika will soon be flying over the White House and the British Parliament. If we dare to doubt this absurd lie, we are punished, branded racist or fascist or a fool too stupid to understand what's happening. In the face of such fierce opposition, sensible peoples keep their heads down and their mouths shut. That is exactly what happened in Nazi Germany. There is complicity in silence. At the very bottom of feminist belief is the idea that women are morally superior to men, that they would do a much better job of running the world. Could this be true? A case can certainly be made to support this notion. Women, not men, made civilization possible. They invented agriculture, the very foundation of human society. When men were out hunting the hairy mastodon to extinction, women were planting seeds and growing crops. Women invented cookery, making mastodon stew a tender and tasty treat. They invented family life, the very glue that holds society together. They tamed the Wild West. When the women moved in, the saloons and the gambling halls closed down. Churches and meeting houses sprang up to take their place. They brought God and law and order to town. Women not only invented civilization, they made it civilized. Without women to keep them in line, men would be little more than savages. The one advantage men have over women is physical strength. This has always been the key to male domination. Do as I say, or I'll kick the shit out of you. In all other respects, women have proved to be the equal of men. Equal, but not superior. Women too have an advantage, perhaps the decisive advantage: sexual allure. So powerful is this attraction, it causes level-headed men to lose their reason. They throw caution and common sense to the winds and turn themselves into panting dogs. But it doesn't stop there. Female tears have atomic power. They can melt the stoniest alpha male heart. Women are master manipulators, the loving kiss, the whispered suggestion, and men fall all over themselves to please these fragrant, insinuating creatures. If women made civilization possible, men made it safer and more comfortable. Architecture was invented by men, probably to please a woman who wanted a roof over her head. Men invented all the labor-saving devices that freed women from the endless drudgery of household chores. The washing machine, the tumble dryer, the vacuum cleaner, the automobile, the electric light, the TV set that babysits the kids, and 1,000 other things, including lipstick and nylon stockings, that makes the lives of women much more agreeable. Now the very masculinity that protected women since the dawn of history is being called into question. Men, especially white men, have become anathema. Masculinity itself has become toxic. The male has been demoted from a hero to a knuckle-dragging, dick-swinging Neanderthal brute. Feminists insist that we become more feminine. Off with their balls, they cry. There seems to be a systematic campaign afoot to undermine male self-esteem. On television and in the movies, men are portrayed as incompetent simpletons, nincompoops with learning difficulties, or the very personification of evil, suggesting that every man is a Ted Bundy at heart. The object of this campaign is to socially castrate men, to strip them of their dignity and their manhood, and reduce them to worker bees serving the queen. These campaigners don't comprehend the damage they are doing or its consequences. Take away a man's manhood, make him ashamed to be male, insult, dishonor, disgrace, and humiliate him, is a sure way to create an army of Ted Bundys, boiling with rage and craving revenge. The feminists have powerful allies in their tireless efforts to stamp out male toxicity. Plenty of submissive men are on their side, happy to be led by the nose to the gelding shed. Then there are the gays, the lesbians, and maybe the bisexuals. But the bisexuals are always equivocal. The only ones not to fall into line are the transgenders. It seems feminists object to nutless geezers claiming to be real women, and with good reason. All a second-rate male athlete has to do to become a first-rate female athlete is to have his balls lopped off, change his name from Donald to Daisy, and enter sporting events as a woman. Size, bone structure, and muscularity will make the difference. So an almighty row has broken out between these two groups. All is not sunshine and roses in the tangled camps of the militant minorities. Male dominance was certainly one of the bad ideas that harmed the human race. It turned the institution of marriage from one of love and mutual respect into a master-slave relationship. A dog, a wife, and a walnut tree, the more you beat them, the better they be. There is as much truth in that rhyme as there is in the feminist slogan describing men. 50% of America is 100% nasty. Clever, but empty and untrue. I see no evidence that female dominance holds out the promise of a better world. All I see is the same old jackboot transferred to a female foot. In those times when women had the whip hand, I'm thinking of Margaret Thatcher, Golda Meir, Indira Gandhi, Elizabeth I, and so on. All of these women ruled with an iron fist, as hard and ruthless as any man's. They took no shit and little advice from their male colleagues, and exerted all their power to the full. No delicate creature with a bloom of contentment on her cheek, more cold, calculating Cardinal Richelieu playing deadly games of real politique. The feminists seem intent on building a system of dogmatic beliefs embodied in a strong organization. The purpose is to influence opinion and politics and lead the gullible down the garden path to a golden future where justice and female supremacy reign unopposed. I have a strong suspicion that the garden path these pilgrims tread leads to a dead end, where the whole movement will wither and eventually die. History shows that when revolutionary movements achieve their goals, they get greedy and push for more and more. They never know when to stop, to sit back and enjoy their victory. They have to go that one step too far, the fatal step that turns the tide against them. The feminists would do well to quit while they're ahead, but they won't. They love the fight too much. The movement gives them a sense of solidarity and companionship. It brings meaning and excitement to their lives. Without it, life would be a grey, humdrum, lackluster affair. Without it, they would be lonely, and horror of horrors might have to resort to the toxic male penis for a little entertainment. It's just not enough that women should win. More importantly, men should lose. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and click on the link to my website in the description below. Until the next time, stay frosty, stay skeptical, and never expose your wedding tackle if there's a feminist in the room.